The galaxy was quiet. It had been quiet for 847 cycles. Nobody heard from humans anymore. They were gone. Just gone. Commander Dabin sat in his control chair on the bridge of the Vex warship. He was an insectoid creature with 4 arms and dark eyes. His ship moved through space near the old human border. The humans used to own this space. Now nobody did. Dabin remembered the stories his teachers told him when he was young. Humans were powerful. They built cities on dead planets. They made machines that could think. They traveled between stars faster than anyone else. Then one day all of them disappeared. Every human. Every ship. Every station, silent. The other species in the galaxy took what the humans left behind. The Vex took some planets. The Delo took others. The court took human technology and tried to understand it. But most human machines were too dangerous to use. The artificial intelligence system scared everyone, so they just left them alone. Children across the galaxy heard stories about the vanished ones. That was what everyone called humans now. The story said humans could bend gravity. They could fold space like paper. They could change entire planets in just a few years. But now they were just legends, ghosts, memories. Dabin did not like this mission. His superiors sent him to investigate strange readings near Sol. Sol was the human home system. Earth used to be there. The planet where humans came from. Nobody went to Sol anymore. It was empty. Dead. A graveyard of human dreams. His science officer spoke up. She pointed at the screen. Strange energy was coming from the inner system. It did not look natural. Dabin felt his chest tighten. He lost his mate to an anomaly near human space 10 years ago. Her ship just vanished. No warning, no trace. He never found out what happened. Back at the council station, Ambassador Minho was making a speech. Minho was a court. His body was made of living crystal that glowed softly. He was asking the council to make Sol a memorial. A place to remember humans, a place to honor them. Most council members did not care. Humans were gone. Why waste money on memories? But Minho cared. He collected human books in secret. Reading human books was not exactly illegal, but people looked at you strange if you did it. Minho did not care what people thought. He loved human stories, human poetry, human songs. Then Dabin sent his report. The council stopped talking about memorials. The energy readings from Sol were serious. Very serious. They looked like human technology. But that was impossible. Humans were gone. Research Director Hana got the same alert. Hana was a Delo. Her people lived in water. She wore a special suit filled with liquid when she had to walk around outside. Hana spent her whole life studying humans. 40 cycles of digging through human ruins, reading human files, trying to understand what happened to them. Her computer beeped loudly. One of her automatic probes sent a signal. Something was active on Mars. Mars was the planet next to Earth in the Sol system. There was an old human beacon there. It had been silent for 847 cycles. Now it was broadcasting. Hana listened to the message. Her translator worked slowly on the old human language. When it finished, she felt cold. The message was simple. Just 3 words repeated over and over. Return protocol initiated. Return protocol initiated. Return protocol initiated. She called the council immediately. The council members gathered fast. This was big. This was dangerous. This was impossible. Ambassador Minho suggested sending an expedition. A large one. If humans were really coming back, the galaxy needed to be ready. They argued for hours. Finally, they voted. Yes, they would send ships to Sol. Commander Dabin would lead the fleet, 47 ships from different species. It was the biggest peaceful fleet since the Unity Wars 200 cycles ago. Research Director Hana demanded to go with them. The council said it was too dangerous. She did not care. She spent her whole life studying humans. If they were coming back, she needed to see them. She needed to talk to them. She needed to understand. Finally, the council agreed. She could go. Ambassador Minho worked day and night. He talked to every government, every species. Everyone needed to be part of this. If humans were returning, it could not be just the Vex or just the court meeting them. It had to be everyone together. The fleet gathered at the edge of Sol system. Dabin stood on his bridge and looked at all the ships around him. Vex ships with their sharp angles. Delos ships that looked like bubbles. Court ships that glowed with soft light. Ships from 47 different species. All here, all waiting. They moved forward slowly. Every sensor was active. Every weapon was ready. Nobody knew what to expect. As they got closer to the inner system, the sensors started screaming. There was something ahead. Something big. Beyond Neptune, space was bending. It looked like reality was tearing open. The energy readings were massive. Dabin checked his computer 3 times. The pattern matched human fold space technology, but the power level was impossible. No human ship ever had this much power. Research Director Hana was in the science bay. Her tentacles moved quickly across the controls. She was recording everything. This was human technology. She was sure of it, but it was better than any human tech she ever studied. Much better. The humans had been gone for 847 cycles. What had they been doing? The distortion suddenly stopped moving. It stabilized. Through the tear in space, they could see nothing. Just empty void, dark and cold. Then sensors started beeping. Something was coming through. One object, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands. Dabin felt his blood run cold. Ships. Thousands and thousands of ships. They were appearing from nothing. From nowhere. The fleet was massive. Bigger than anything he had ever seen. Bigger than anything anyone had ever seen, he shouted orders. All ships went to battle stations. Weapons powered up. Shields activated. If this was an invasion, they would fight. They would die. But they would fight. Then Hana screamed over the communication channel. Wait. Wait. Do not fire. She was looking at the ship markings through her telescope. Her translator was working on the symbols painted on the hulls. When it finished, she could not breathe. The markings were old Earth Navy codes. United Earth Navy, human designations. Those were human ships. The humans were back. The massive fleet did not fire. It just waited. Then a message came through on all frequencies. Every species could hear it. The voice spoke in perfect galactic standard. The grammar was correct. The pronunciation was clear. The voice said, "This is Captain Ji-Woo Park of the United Earth Navy ship Indomitable. Humanity has returned. We wish to talk." Dabin sat back in his chair. His 4 arms were shaking. Beside him, his officers were silent. On the science bay, Hana was crying. In his office on the council station, Ambassador Minho heard the message and smiled. The humans were back. After 847 cycles of silence, the humans were finally back. But as Dabin stared at the fleet on his screen, he felt something strange. Not relief. Not joy, fear. The fleet was too big, too advanced, too perfect. The humans had been gone for 847 cycles. Where had they been? What had they become? And why had they returned now? The answers to those questions would change everything. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of silence was over. The humans were back. And nothing would ever be quiet again. The meeting took place on a neutral station. The court engineers built it in just 3 days. It floated in empty space between the human fleet and the galactic ships. Captain Ji-Woo Park arrived first. Commander Dabin watched her ship approach. It was small, just a personal transport, but something was wrong with it. The ship moved through the station's outer wall like the wall was not there. It just passed through solid matter. That should not be possible. When Captain Ji-Woo stepped into the meeting room, everyone stared. She looked human. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. She looked young, maybe 30 years old. She wore a simple uniform, blue and white, the old Earth colors. She smiled. Ambassador Minho stood up to greet her. He was shaking. He had studied humans his whole life. Now there was one standing in front of him. A real human, alive. He did not know what to say. Ji-Woo spoke first. Her voice was calm. "Thank you for meeting with us. I know this must be strange. We have been gone a long time." She sat down in a chair. Her movements were smooth. Too smooth, like she was moving through water. Research Director Hana could not stay quiet. She asked the question everyone wanted to ask. "Where have you been? What happened 847 cycles ago? Why did you leave?" Ji-Woo looked sad for a moment. Then she began to explain. 847 cycles ago, human scientists detected something terrible. A threat from another dimension, something that ate entire realities. It was coming toward their galaxy. Toward everyone. The humans knew they could not fight it. Not yet, they were not strong enough. Not smart enough. So they made a choice. They would leave. All of them. Every single human. They would go to a pocket dimension, a small bubble of space where time moved differently. Dabin did not understand. A pocket dimension? Time moving differently? What did that mean? Another human entered the room. Dr. Hyun. He was the science officer. He had strange eyes. They looked like they could see through you. Dr. Hyun explained it simply. Inside the pocket dimension, time moved faster. Much faster. The humans went there to work, to study, to build, to become stronger. They needed time to find a solution, time to prepare, so they made their own time. Hana did the math in her head. Then she asked the important question. How much time? For us, it has been 847 cycles. How long was it for you? The room went silent. Then a third human entered. She was older. Much older. She wore a uniform covered in medals. This was Admiral Sua. She commanded the entire human fleet. She looked at each alien with cold eyes. Then she answered, 43,000 years. Subjective time. For you, it was 847 cycles. For us, it was 43,000 years. We have been preparing for a very long time. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. 43,000 years. The humans had lived for 43,000 years while the rest of the galaxy barely aged. What could a species do with that much time? What would they become? Ambassador Minho finally found his voice. He asked about the threat. Was it real? Was it coming? Could they prove it? Dr. Hyun pulled out a small device. He pressed a button and a hologram appeared. It showed the galaxy. At the edge there was darkness. Not normal darkness. This darkness was eating space itself. Stars were disappearing, not exploding, just ceasing to exist. The dimensional breach. That was what the humans called it. Dr. Hyun showed them the calculations, the models, the predictions. The breach would reach the galaxy's edge in 90 cycles. When it arrived, everything would end. Every species, every world, everything would be unmade. Dabin felt sick. This could not be real. It had to be a lie, some kind of human trick. He stood up and accused them. You are lying. You want to scare us. You want us to give you back your territory. This is just a story. Captain Jiwoo looked at him with tired eyes. I wish we were lying, Commander. I wish this was just a story. But it is not. We came back to save you, to save everyone. We came back because we had to. The meeting broke apart. Too many voices, too many arguments. Many species did not believe the humans. The Vex military demanded that the human fleet disarm. They said it was too dangerous, too powerful. The humans needed to prove they were peaceful. One Vex destroyer captain got angry. He powered up his weapons. He pointed them at a human ship. It was a threat, a show of force. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the human ship was gone. It just vanished. Everyone looked at their sensors. The ship reappeared 10,000 kilometers away. It had moved instantly. No travel time. It was just there, and then it was here. The Vex destroyer captain turned off his weapons. His hands were shaking. How did they do that? How did they move without moving? Ambassador Minho tried to calm everyone down. He made a proposal. The humans could stay, but only in Sol system, only in their old home. The council would send scientists to check their evidence, to verify the threat. If the humans were telling the truth, then everyone would work together. If they were lying, then they would leave. Admiral Sua agreed immediately, but she had one condition. The humans needed access to the old data archives, the ones scattered across former human worlds. They needed genetic records, DNA files, medical histories. Hana asked why. Why did they need genetic records? Admiral Sua looked uncomfortable for the first time. She spoke quietly. We did not bring everyone back. When we evacuated, some humans were too far away. We could not reach them. We left them behind. We promised we would return. Now we need to find their descendants. The meeting ended. Everyone returned to their ships. But Commander Dabin could not stop thinking. The humans left people behind. For 43,000 years. What happened to those people? Did they survive? Did they have children? Where were they now? Research Director Hana volunteered to guide the humans to the archives. She wanted to learn more about them. She wanted to understand. Captain Jiwoo agreed. They would travel together, human and Dilo, working side by side. On the journey, Hana asked many questions. What happened to human culture? What happened to their art, their music, their stories? After 43,000 years of isolation, did they still remember who they were? Jiwoo took her to a viewing deck on the human ship. Through the window, Hana could see Earth. It was beautiful. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. Perfect, Jiwoo explained. We rebuilt Earth in the pocket dimension. Every tree, every river, every mountain, exactly as it was. We had to remember. We needed something to fight for. Hana looked closer. Earth was not alone. There were other planets nearby. Dozens of them. All restored. All perfect. The humans had recreated their lost worlds. Every single one. From memory. How? Hana asked. How did you remember everything for 43,000 years? Jiwoo smiled sadly. We did not forget because we could not afford to forget. When you fight that long, you need to know what you are fighting for. So we kept Earth alive. In our memories. In our hearts. In our dreams. Back on the council station, Ambassador Minho was reading reports. The human evidence was being checked. Scientists from every species were looking at the data, the models, the calculations. Slowly, the reports started coming back. The verdict was always the same. The humans were telling the truth. The breach was real. The threat was coming. 90 cycles. That was all the time they had. 90 cycles to prepare. 90 cycles to find a solution. 90 cycles to save everyone. The galaxy was running out of time. And only the humans knew how to fight what was coming. Only the humans had prepared. Only the humans could save them. If they chose to. Damn human voices. But she was not human. She was Vex. She had always been Vex. She lived on a mining colony at the edge of former human space. Her parents worked in the mines. They dug valuable metals from dead asteroids. It was hard work. Dangerous work. But it paid well enough. The dream started 3 weeks ago, right after a human ship passed near the colony. The ship did not stop. It just scanned everything and left. But after that, Borum could not sleep. The dreams came every night, and other things started happening too. She was getting stronger. Yesterday, she lifted a cargo container that usually took 3 workers to move. Her supervisor stared at her. Borum had no explanation. She just could. Her injuries healed faster too. Last week, she cut her hand on sharp metal. The wound closed in hours, not days. Borum was scared. Something was wrong with her. Something was changing. She went to the colony doctor. The doctor ran tests. When the results came back, the doctor looked confused. She ran more tests, then more. Finally, she called Borum back to her office. Your DNA is unusual, the doctor said. You have genetic markers that do not match Vex biology. I do not understand it. I sent samples to a specialist. She looked worried. I think you should stop working until we figure this out. Far away in the depths of space, the humans were searching. They deployed thousands of small satellites, scanner satellites. Each one sent back genetic data. They were looking for their lost children, the descendants of the humans who got left behind. Colonel Taman commanded the genetic recovery program. He was a hard man. His eyes were cold. He spent 12,000 years fighting in the pocket dimension military. 12,000 years of war, of training, of sacrifice. It made him different from other humans, harder, more focused. His computer showed him the results. Over 40,000 individuals with human genetic markers. 40,000 descendants scattered across hundreds of worlds. Some were half human. Some were only 10% human. But they all carried human DNA, the DNA of people who got left behind. Colonel Taman sent teams to make contact, carefully, quietly. They were not forcing anyone. They were just offering a choice. Come home, learn about your heritage. Join humanity, or stay where you were. It was up to each individual. Commander Dabin got reports about these operations. The council was worried. The humans were moving without permission. They were contacting citizens of other species, offering them something. What were they really doing? Dabin was assigned to investigate. He found Colonel Taman on a Delo colony. Taman was talking to a family. The father was Delo. The mother was Delo. But their son had human features, human eyes, human hands. The test showed he was 40% human genetically. Colonel Taman was explaining their options. Your ancestor was human, one of the people we left behind. You have a right to know your heritage. We can teach you, train you, help you understand what you are. The family listened politely. Then they refused. We are Dello, the father said. We have always been Dello. We do not want to leave. Taman accepted their decision. He thanked them for their time. His soldiers stood behind him. Dabin watched their hands. They were resting near their weapons. The weapons had no safety locks. The humans were ready for violence if needed, but Taman did not force anything. They just left. Dabin followed Taman outside. He confronted him. What are you really doing? Why do you need these people? What is this really about? Taman looked at him with cold eyes. We are trying to save everyone, Commander, including the descendants of our people. We left them behind once. We will not abandon them again, but Dabin did not trust him. Something felt wrong. The humans were too interested in genetics, too focused on finding every last person with human DNA. Why? What were they planning? Back on the mining colony, Borum received a visitor, a human medic. She said her name was Dr. Hyun. She looked young, but her eyes were old, ancient. She sat down across from Borum and explained everything. You are 78% human genetically. Your great-great-grandmother was one of the humans we left behind. She married a Vex. Their children had children. Over generations you were born. Your human DNA is waking up. That is why you are getting stronger, why you heal faster, why you dream of human voices. Borum felt tears on her face. I am human, but I have lived my whole life as Vex. I grew up Vex. I think like Vex. How can I be human? Dr. Hyun smiled gently. You are both. That makes you special, unique. You bridge two worlds, two species. You are exactly what we need. What do you need me for? Borum asked. Dr. Hyun looked serious. There is a war coming, a threat you cannot imagine. We need every advantage, every tool, every person who can help. Your hybrid nature makes you valuable. You can interface with both human and alien technology. You can work with both species. We need you, Borum thought for a long time. Finally, she asked the important question. Do I have a choice? Can I say no? Dr. Hyun nodded. Yes, you always have a choice. We will never force you, but I hope you will help us. I hope you will come home. The council was fighting about this issue. Ambassador Minho stood before the assembled representatives. He was arguing for legislation. Individual choice must be protected. Just because someone has human DNA does not mean they belong to Earth. They have rights. They have homes. They have lives. Admiral Suo was there too. She listened to Minho's speech. Then she spoke. Her voice was cold and hard. Choice is a luxury, Ambassador. The threat is coming whether we are ready or not. Every person with human genetics might matter in the fight ahead. Every single one. We cannot afford to be gentle. We cannot afford to wait. Time is running out. Research Director Hana made a terrible discovery. She was reviewing classified human records. Records from the pocket dimension. What she found made her sick. The humans had not just advanced technologically. They had evolved. They changed themselves. Genetic engineering, neural augmentation, life extension. They were not the same species anymore. The modern humans could live for thousands of years. Their brains worked faster. Their bodies were stronger. They had abilities that seemed like magic. They were functionally a different species, and they wanted the descendants, not to reunite families, to recruit soldiers, to build an army. Hana felt betrayed. She confronted Captain Jiwoo. Why did you not tell us? Why did you hide what you became? Jiwoo looked tired. Because you would have been afraid. You already are afraid. We had 43,000 years. Did you think we would stay the same? Did you think we would not change? We became what we needed to be. Borum made her decision. She traveled to Sol, to Earth, to humanity's home. There were others like her. 4,000 descendants from across the galaxy, all different species. All carrying human DNA, all volunteers. Colonel Taman welcomed them. He stood on a stage and spoke to the assembled crowd. Your ancestors did not abandon you. They left you to survive, to grow, to spread human genes across the galaxy, to become bridges between species. Now we need those bridges. Now we need you. Welcome home. Borum looked around at the others. They came from everywhere. Every species, every world. Some looked almost human. Others looked completely alien. But they all had human DNA. They were all connected. They were all family. Training began immediately. The descendants learned about human history. human culture, human technology, but they also learned about war, about combat, about sacrifice. The humans were not recruiting family. They were recruiting soldiers, and everyone knew it. Commander Dabin confronted Admiral Sua one more time. He demanded the truth. Are you liberators or conquerors? Are you here to help us or to use us? Admiral Sua took him to a secure facility, showed him what the humans were building. Weapons, shields, dimensional anchors, thousands of scientists working frantically. Look at us, Sua said. We gave up 43,000 years. We lost everything. Our old lives, our old selves. We became weapons, living weapons designed to fight something you cannot understand. Do you think we want to rule? Do you think we want power? She brought up the hologram showing the dimensional breach. It was closer now, moving faster. We just want one thing, Commander. We want to save you, even if you hate us for it. The dimensional breach arrived early, 20 cycles ahead of schedule. Nobody was ready. It started at the galaxy's edge. A section of space just stopped existing. 5-star systems vanished. Not destroyed, not exploded. They just ceased to be, like they never existed in the first place. Reality itself was being erased. Commander Dabin was on his ship when the alert came through. His sensors showed him the impossible. Empty space where stars used to be. Not darkness, not black holes, nothing. Absolute void. His hands shook as he sent the emergency broadcast. It is here. The breach is here. The humans were right. The breach spread like a disease. It moved at 0.001% of light speed. That sounds slow. It was not. At that rate, it would reach major population centers in 70 cycles. Billions would die. Then trillions. Then everything. The council called an emergency session. Every government. Every species. Everyone who had doubted the humans now believed. But belief was not enough. They needed a solution. They needed a plan. They needed hope. Admiral Sua presented humanity's plan. They would build a dimensional barrier. A wall made of twisted space-time. It would require 10,000 ships working in perfect coordination, all powered by quantum coherence generators. Technology only human ships possessed. The problem was obvious. The galaxy's militaries had to surrender command to humans. Every ship, every fleet, every defense force. They had to trust the species that had been gone for 847 cycles. They had to trust the species that had become something else, something more, something frightening. Ambassador Minho spoke to his people. The court were proud. They did not like taking orders from anyone. But Minho convinced them. This is not about pride. This is about survival. The humans know how to fight this. We do not. We must trust them. We must work together, or we all die. One by one, the species agreed. The Vex, the Delo, the court. 47 different civilizations putting aside their differences. Putting aside their fears. Working as one. It was the first time in galactic history. True unity. Born from desperation, the breach consumed another system. This time it was a court colony world. 4 billion people lived there. They had nowhere to run. The void was coming. Then Captain Jiwoo arrived with her fleet. Her ships deployed barrier generators around the planet. They formed a shield of twisted space-time. The breach hit it and stopped. For the first time, something held the void back, but it cost them. The generators were overloading. Ships started exploding under the strain. Jiwoo did not retreat. She ordered everyone to hold position. They held for 6 hours, 6 hours of hell. Human crews died at their stations. Ships burned, but the generators kept running. The court managed to evacuate 4 billion people. Every single one. Not one person left behind. When the evacuation finished, Jiwoo gave the order to retreat. She lost 120 ships, 30,000 crew. But the court were safe. Captain Jiwoo broadcast the battle footage across the entire galaxy. She wanted everyone to see, to understand. Her message was simple. This is what humans die for, not conquest. Not power, survival for all of us together or we all die alone. The footage changed everything. Species that feared humans now respected them. The galaxy saw humans fighting, dying, sacrificing themselves to save aliens, to save people who were not even their own species. This was not invasion. This was protection. Borum and the other descendants became crucial. Their hybrid nature let them work with both human and alien systems. They served as translators, coordinators, bridge crews. The humans were good at fighting, but they had been isolated for 43,000 years. They did not always understand other species. The descendants helped them communicate. Borum discovered something else, too. She could sense the breach, feel it moving. Her human DNA gave her some kind of connection to the dimensional distortion. She could predict where it would strike next. Her warning saved millions of lives. Other descendants had similar abilities. The hybrid genetics created something new, something unexpected, something useful. Commander Dabin made his decision. He brought the entire Vex fleet under human command. No questions, no arguments. He trusted them. Admiral Sua put him in charge of the Vex tactical wing. Together, human and Vex ships fought side by side. The old enemies became allies, partners, friends. Research Director Hana worked with Dr. Hyun. They adapted human technology for mass production. Other species needed barrier generators too. Human ships could not be everywhere. So they taught the aliens how to build their own generators, shared their secrets, gave away their advantages, because survival mattered more than superiority. The breach kept coming. It consumed system after system, world after world. The defenders evacuated what they could, saved who they could, but losses mounted. Entire civilizations fled their homeworlds. Refugees filled every available station, every colony, every ship. The galaxy was running. Admiral Sua gathered her commanders, human and alien, together in one room. She showed them the final plan. A permanent barrier, a wall across the entire galaxy's edge. It would stop the breach forever, but it required something nobody expected. She explained what they needed. The barrier technology needed massive computational power, more than any artificial intelligence could provide, more than any computer could handle. The solution was neural linking. Organic minds working together, creating a living computer, a thinking barrier. The descendants were perfect for this. Their hybrid genetics let them interface with human systems in ways pure humans could not. They could become living processors. Their minds would join the defense grid, connect to the barrier, keep it running forever. But there was a cost. Neural linking was permanent, irreversible. Once connected, they could never disconnect. They would spend the rest of their lives linked to the barrier, feeling it, maintaining it, fighting the void with their thoughts, their consciousness, their souls. And Admiral Sua asked for volunteers. She did not order anyone. She did not force anyone. She simply asked, who would give up their future to save the galaxy? Who would sacrifice their freedom so others could live? Borum was the first to step forward. She volunteered for the deepest integration level, the most dangerous connection. When others tried to stop her, she shook her head. I understand now. This is why I exist. Why we exist. We are bridges, connections between species, between people, between life and death. This is our purpose. 3,000 other descendants volunteered, from every species, every world. They knew what it meant. They knew what they were giving up. But they chose to serve anyway. They chose to sacrifice. They chose to save everyone. The integration process took days. Borum lay in a medical pod while human technicians connected her nervous system to the defense grid. She felt herself spreading out, becoming larger. Her mind touched other minds. Human minds, descendant minds, all linked together, all working as one. Through the connection, she experienced what the humans experienced for 43,000 years. Total dedication to a single purpose. Every thought focused on survival. Every action aimed at defeating the threat. The pain, the sacrifice, the determination. She finally understood. The humans did not just prepare. They transformed themselves into exactly what the galaxy needed. A shield, a weapon, a wall against the darkness. The breach consumed an entire sector. Hundreds of systems, thousands of worlds. It was accelerating, moving faster. The final battle was coming. Everyone knew it. The time for preparation was over. The time for action had arrived. Admiral Sua made her final calculation. They could stop the breach. They could save the galaxy. But it required something unthinkable, something terrible, something necessary. She called a meeting with the council, showed them the numbers, explained the cost. To power the barrier permanently, they needed an anchor, a massive energy source, something big enough to hold back the void forever. There was only one option, Earth itself. They had to destroy humanity's homeworld, convert it to pure energy. Use it to power the shield. The council was silent. Destroy Earth? The planet humans spent 43,000 years recreating? Their most sacred place? Their home? It was too much. Too cruel. They could not ask the humans to do this. Admiral Sua presented the option to Captain Jiwoo. The room was quiet. Everyone waited. Jiwoo looked at the data, checked the calculations, then looked up. Her face was calm. Her voice was steady. Do it. We lost Earth once. The second time is easier. Besides, it was always just a memory made solid. The real Earth lives wherever humans stand, Ambassador Minho protested. This is too great a sacrifice. You cannot destroy your homeworld. There must be another way. But Jiwoo just smiled, tired, sad, but certain. This is what we came back for, Ambassador. This is what we prepared for. 43,000 years, every sacrifice, every loss, every change. It was all for this moment. We are ready. Operation Final Dawn began at sunrise, though there was no real sunrise in space. The name was symbolic. One last dawn for humanity. One last light before eternal darkness. Every human ship moved into position. Every descendant prepared their connection. Every allied vessel joined the line. 10,000 ships spread across a barrier 10,000 light-years long. The largest military formation in galactic history. All working together. All focused on one goal. Stop the breach. Save everyone. The humans evacuated Sol system. But they did not run away. They did not flee in panic. They moved with purpose. With dignity. They documented everything. Every sunset on Earth, every ocean wave, every forest, every mountain. Dr. Hyun explained it to Research Director Hana. We carry Earth within us now. Memory is stronger than matter. As long as we remember, Earth exists. The last transmission from Earth's surface showed children playing in a park, running, laughing, chasing each other through green grass under blue sky. They did not know what was coming. They did not know their world would end in hours. They were just happy, just alive, just human. Hana watched the footage and cried. She had studied humans her entire life, 40 cycles of research, but only now did she truly understand them. They were not conquerors. They were not invaders. They were protectors, guardians. They built beauty so they could defend it. They created life so they could preserve it. Everything they did was for others, even dying. Commander Dabin stood on his bridge beside human officers. He commanded the Vex forces alongside Admiral Sua's fleet. In the hours before the operation began, he asked her a question. Are you afraid of death? She shook her head slowly. I died 43,000 years ago when I left my children behind to enter the pocket dimension. Everything since then has been borrowed time. Extra life I never expected. I am ready. Dabin realized something then. Every human in the fleet was ancient. They looked young, but they were thousands of years old. Held alive by technology, by medicine, by sheer determination. They were not really alive anymore. They were ghosts. Weapons given form. They had died long ago and kept fighting anyway. They returned not to live, but to finish what they started. The breach reached the barrier line. It hit a dozen systems at once. Planets began phasing out of reality. Borum felt it through her neural link. She experienced 10 million minds ceasing to exist. Not dying. Worse than dying. Being unmade. Erased from existence retroactively. Like they never were. Never would be. Never could be. The horror of it broke her mind for a moment. The other descendants felt it too. The void did not kill, it erased. It removed you from reality itself. Every memory of you. Every effect you had on the world. Every person you touched. All gone like you never existed. That was what the humans had fought for 43,000 years. That was what they feared. That was why they changed themselves into weapons. The detonation sequence began. Deep inside Earth's core, human technology activated. The planet's mass started converting to pure energy. Slowly at first, then faster. The oceans began to glow. The continents shook. The atmosphere burned. Earth was dying. The human homeworld was ending. Again, the quantum generator shaped the energy, formed it, directed it into the barrier. The dimensional wall ignited across 10,000 light-years. A ribbon of twisted space-time, a scar across reality. The breach hit it and stopped. For 10 seconds, everything held. Then cracks started appearing. The barrier was failing. It was not enough. Earth alone could not power it. Admiral Sua initiated Protocol Last Light. Every human received the signal. They knew what it meant. They had prepared for this, trained for this. They did not hesitate, did not question. They just acted. 10 million humans linked their consciousness to the barrier. They connected their minds, their memories, their souls, everything they were, everything they had been. 43,000 years of knowledge, experience, determination. They poured it into the wall, made themselves part of it, became the barrier. Captain Jiwoo sat in her command chair. She felt the link activating, felt her mind spreading out, connecting to millions of others. She sent one final transmission to the galaxy, to everyone listening, to everyone who would remember. We did not come back to rule you. We came back to free you. Every species has a purpose. Ours is to stand between the dark and the light. We have done it before. We do it now. We will do it forever. Remember us. Remember what we fought for. Remember why we sacrificed, not for power, not for glory, for you, for everyone, for life itself. Her body stopped functioning. Her heart stopped beating. But her consciousness did not die. It spread into the barrier, merged with it, became part of something larger. She was everywhere and nowhere. Still watching, still protecting, still standing guard. The breach hit the reinforced barrier and stopped completely. The void pressed against it, tried to break through, failed. The barrier held, powered by human will, human memory, human sacrifice. It would hold forever. As long as one human consciousness remained, as long as one memory survived, the wall would stand, the galaxy was saved. But humanity was gone. Again. Not vanished this time. Transformed, changed into something else, something eternal. Monitoring stations detected strange patterns in the barrier, quantum fluctuations that seemed almost like thoughts, like awareness. The humans had not died. They became something beyond death, beyond life. They became the shield itself. Commander Dabin returned to his ship. He was crying. So were his crew. They watched the barrier shimmer in space. Somewhere in there, Admiral Sua was still fighting. Captain Jiwoo was still on watch. All the humans he had come to respect, to trust, to call friends. They were all there, forever. Ambassador Minho sent a message to every government, every species, every world. Today, humanity saved us all. They gave everything, asked for nothing. We owe them a debt we can never repay. But we can remember. We can honor them. We can make sure their sacrifice meant something. Research Director Hana went home to her people. She brought all her research, all her recordings, all her files. She would spend the rest of her life teaching others about humans, making sure everyone knew their story, making sure nobody forgot what they did. 100 cycles passed. The galaxy rebuilt itself. Cities rose. Economies recovered. Life continued. The barrier remained, always visible, a shimmer at the edge of space, a reminder of what humanity did, what they became. Children across the galaxy grew up hearing the story, the humans who vanished, who returned, who saved everyone, who became eternal. Teachers told them about Captain Jiwoo, about Admiral Sua, about the 10 million humans who chose to become the Wall. Heroes who would never die because they were already beyond death. Commander Dabin retired. He spent his last years maintaining a memorial where Earth used to be. Thousands visited every day. They came to remember, to honor, to thank the species that sacrificed everything for strangers. Dabin told the same story to each group. They could have saved themselves. They had the technology to escape. But they stayed. They fought, they died, because that was what humans did. Hana published her final book, The Human Paradox. It became required reading on every civilized world. Her argument was simple. Humanity's strength was not technology, not intelligence, not power. It was choice. They chose to sacrifice. Not once, twice, they chose others over themselves, always. Ambassador Minho created the Human Heritage Foundation. It preserved human history, taught human culture, made sure every species understood what was lost, what was given, what remained. He discovered something wonderful. The descendants were having children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Each generation showed more human traits. Humanity was not extinct. It was evolving, growing, spreading across the galaxy in 1,000 different forms. Borum survived. Her neural link was strong enough to maintain her individuality, While connected to the barrier, she could still think, still speak, still live, but she was also connected to something greater. She could feel the humans in the wall, hear their thoughts, their feelings, their eternal vigilance. She served as a bridge between the barrier and the galaxy. When people wanted to communicate with the humans, they came to her. She translated, conveyed messages, brought responses. The humans could not speak anymore, but they could still listen, still watch, still care. One day, a child asked Borum a question. Are the humans happy? Are they sad? Do they regret what they did? Borum closed her eyes, reached into the link, felt the presence of millions of human minds. When she answered, she was crying and smiling at the same time. They are content. They feel no regret. They would choose the same thing again, because they are protecting us, all of us. That is what makes them happy, knowing we live, knowing we thrive, knowing their sacrifice mattered. They are humanity. They are the shield, and they will hold forever. At night, when the galaxy slept, observers looked up at the barrier. Sometimes in the quantum fluctuations, they swore they could see faces, millions of them, human faces from across 43,000 years, all watching, all waiting, all protecting. Captain Jiwoo was there. Admiral Suwa was there. All 10 million humans were there, standing their eternal watch. Legends said humans were gone. The legends were wrong. Humans did not leave. They became what the galaxy needed, eternal, vigilant, unbreakable. Somewhere in that wall,